Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this super cool episode of Deep Woo Woo. Of course, it's another Tarot by Janine here on Monday night. You can find her work at Sending Ravens and also here at Tarot by Janine on YouTube. Let's give her a big warm welcome. Janine, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Jean-Claude. How you doing? How's everybody doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Janine, what a colorful blanket you got there behind you. What's going on?
Yeah, I just opened a parcel. It arrived just before the show, actually. Yeah, it's really, really foggy here. So the guy delivering it was having a hard time even just finding my front door. It was hilarious.
Wow.
Like we're so fogged in today. It's so funny. But then this came, so that just brightened up the whole foggy day.
Absolutely.
It's a
And this was all delayed because a beautiful viewer of ours from Ladybug Healing had sent us this a couple months ago as a gift. And it took a long time for me to even figure out there was something in my post office box. So eventually I got it. And then all the weird things happening in between. And I finally got to send a Janine her blanket. And that's what you see there. It is a Reiki crystal infused blanket. They're absolutely phenomenal. Talk about the energy and what you felt when you opened up this package here, Janine.
Well, actually, I'm sitting on the energy right now, so it's awesome. It feels nurturing is the word I'd say.
Nurturing. Okay, very cool. Well, Ladybug Healing, this is the website here. Let me bring that link down for you guys to go check it out. Amazing products there too, which leads me to this conversation. Hold on a second here. Let me just bring the link before I forget that. Okay, so that's in the live chat now. Let me bring that up on the screen for everybody to see. Wait, is it on the screen? You guys are, wait, it's moving too fast. Where'd it go? There you go. Okay, now it's on the screen. Okay, and so this person has also, by the way, entered the talent search competition. So if you haven't seen our last show last week, Janine and I figured, hey, a lot of people want to be on the show. And we figured, why don't we make an event out of this and try to attract new and exciting woo-woo people to maybe support them and let them and their channels grow here on YouTube. So we put together this web form application here on my website. Let me see if I can find that link again here. And we're, of course, going on the Who's Got Talent theme, but it's Who's Got Talent here. So anyways, this is the link, beyondmystic.net/talent search. So if you're a woo person and you want to be on the show, fill out the affiliate form here and we'll see how we go here. But eventually, I think we're going to have so far, there's at least 100 applicants from last week alone. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to need time to go through all these people. There's a lot of crazy, really, really cool people. So I've asked some of my moderators to form a selective selection committee to kind of bring that down to maybe a manageable size. And then we could do maybe a first show and then let the audience vote. As I figured out, I'll create an online voting app and then we'll do a live show and we'll let people decide who's cool here, and eventually of course we'll do a show with the winner and help them promote their woo-ness, so to speak. So there you go, Woo's Got Talent. And of course Reiki blankets are welcome also, so good luck to all of you guys in the application. I'm really excited about this one. All right, where do we start tonight, man? There's a lot of weird things. Maybe, okay, you and I just recorded a pay-per-view earlier today. So it's live now for the Insider Access Pass members. You'll see it right away. So let me bring that up on the screen. So that's November 15th episode right up here. And of course, if you're an Insider Access Pass member, click on that Discord chat, and that will open up a little window where I can pick some questions here from you guys here tonight. Now, in this episode, you and I kind of talked about this weird energy hitting a lot of people this weekend. Can we kind of just recap that? Because I know a lot of these audience members also are probably feeling it and wondering what the hell just happened this weekend. Janine.
Yeah, so both you and I were feeling it. It was, when we looked at the cards, it looked like it was, so there's a lot of energy leaving the earth plane, and it's all that negative energy, all kinds of really negative shifts coming up and out of and or off the earth plane. And the earth is kind of like a body in itself. We have individual bodies, but the earth is a body. And it's like a healing crisis for the earth, maybe, because when you're losing toxins, so say you started eating right, and you cut down on coffee and you worked out some healthier ways to eat and whatever, you end up releasing a lot of toxins from your body. And I think the earth is doing that with this negative energy. And that's what the cards were reflecting. There's negative energy leaving the earth plane, but it looked like it was a good thing, even though it feels weird.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so it's a good thing. It feels weird. And in the meantime, for the people who might still be, maybe they got their energy dropped quite a bit here from the weekend, what can we tell them? Maybe tips and tools, or can we pull cards to help them maybe raise that frequency back up after this weird weekend? Somebody's asking, Tater Tots, would you be able to do a woo interview in French? Mais oui, bien sûr, maybe. Well, we'll see about that, because I did see quite a few French applicants also in that. So we might do a weird bilingual show, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. So it all depends what the selection committee comes up with. But yeah, I'd be open to doing a French show. And so actually, somebody asked me the other day if I do a full interview in French on my show. I'm like, oh, maybe. I wouldn't say no to it. And I know I have a lot of French viewers, so it could be cool. All right, Janine.
Well, they'd be out of luck if they want me to speak French, because I only know the one word.
You know more than one. Come on.
Not too many more. Okay, so what do we got here?
Well, you know all the swear words, Janine. You're halfway there. Come on.
Okay, I might know a few swear words. Okay, so 5 and surrender. And okay, really staying intuitive and like make a little cocoon for yourself, and like take some time to reflect. It's really reflective, all of these cards, and time out, and don't try to do too much. If you're feeling that energy, like sort of come in, it's almost like hermitage time. And it really asking us to really follow our true hearts. Don't do anything that you feel like you have to do. Only do things that you know in your heart you feel like doing. Like you give your energy to only things that you're inspired to do. Inspiration, right? And that's literally what I was like all weekend. I didn't lift a finger to anything that I was not really into doing. So I didn't do much of anything.
I know we were supposed to record a show, but that was partly me also. We were like, oh, fuck it. I just want to relax this weekend. Yeah. There's so much weird energy. And Janine are like, yeah, let's just go with the flow, JC. We'll hook up again on Monday. So that's what happened. Yeah. Speaking of, you just said something there, and it reminded me to bring this up on the screen. I don't know why. What's the segue into it? But of course, the beautiful Ashley was on last week. So if you guys haven't seen the inaugural broadcast of Galactic Tarot, go check it out. It was a super fun, fast-paced episode. Amazing. And wow. And it's a different feel. Again, she's pulling from a different frequency than Janine. So it was really cool. What did you think about the episode?
I loved it. I watched it and it was so fun. It was just like clipping along, like only two Aries could create that kind of a really high pitch sort of, and kind of groovy, you know, I want to say funky.
Funky. Oh yeah, I like it. I like it. It was cool too, because for us, it was the first time really we were speaking to each other. We had texted before a couple of times between you and I, but it just felt natural. It's like, oh, I know her. Like she's like, oh, I know you. Like it just felt really cool. So as we continue developing the show, I think that the relationship will solidify and mesh and galvanize even more. So I'm really excited and was really happy to do that show. And thank you to everyone who supported the PayPal tip jar for Ashley and I on that show. It was absolutely amazing and very generous of you guys. It was really, really cool. Okay, let's get into this story. Janine, how do you want to set it up?
Well, I just got that just before coming to air here. Apparently the Queen, or how the story goes, the Queen has put this mafia, but I won't say the full word of it, the bad guys on notice. So this war we've been fighting against this bunch, according to this guy, okay, she just put them on notice, put these guys on notice. So even in the article, it mentions that a lot of people don't believe the Queen's still with us here on the Earth plane. Mm-hmm. But it says, what's that group? MI6. MI6. So MI6, who's, I guess, representing the Queen, they come back in the article saying, well, it doesn't matter if she's with us or not. That's beside the point. We're representing her, and yeah, this is what's going on.
Okay, so this is interesting because here is the declaration of war sent by this person to these fellows here, and I'm not being facetious, guys. It's just an interesting twist of events here. Okay. How do I even start with that one? Yeah, okay, so let's pull back. Let's pull back and say, okay, so if the Queen is gone, and they're talking about MI6 here being in the background, serving these orders here of declaration of war against these people. Now, you and I in the show today, of course, pulled cards and realized that last week on November 11th, a lot of those people apparently have been rounded up. We haven't seen that in the news yet. Yes, we will see that on Real Raw News and some of those sites. But for the mainstream, so far, it's not in our field of view. But energetically, something did happen last week. And leading up to this weekend, all of this weird negative energy just kind of grasping at everything here on its way out. So there's some echo to what's going on here. But my question, I guess, for the Queen, or maybe for you first, Janine, in your understanding, because I'm trying to track with this, why would the Queen, who we all know who and what she is, declare war on another group, which we all know who they are? What does that mean to you for us to be hearing this at this time?
Yeah. And that's exactly my point why I sent it to you, because it was like, what?
What?
You know, because this guy, I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll just find out he's spinning.
It could be. So, okay, so we talked about this 2 weeks ago, I believe, on the General Flynn perhaps coming out, forcing Mr. T's hand to get things moving along. And so that didn't really occur the way, so far, as far as I know, at least, I haven't seen that, the way it was prescribed, but perhaps that's still in the cards. Now, maybe this is surpassing or taking its place here to, again, force people's hands here to start moving this process along. Because a lot of people in the chat right now are saying, oh, Janine, when's this movie going to end? Like, right, when's this bad dream going to end? So something needs to happen here. We need to move and shake here. So what's going on?
Okay, so the first card was this card I pulled. So interesting. The story looks like it actually came from that very mafia group. Yeah. Okay. So surrender. So it's a form of surrender somehow, or they're making some kind of, it feels like they're surrendering. So they put that out there themselves. There's some kind of surrender going on. That was put out by them.
So, okay. So by them, the group on top here is basically saying that the Queen has declared war on them. And by them putting out this preemptively, they're surrendering somehow? Is that what you're saying?
Well, they're signaling a surrender. So I'm not sure exactly with what. With certain words, because certain words pop out to these people that sort of decode stuff like this.
Yeah, code words. Yeah.
The cards are just saying, because of course we know the Queen is right up there in that bunch. As far as I'm concerned, all the royals are somehow connected to that bunch. So I'm thinking that it's some kind of a signaling.
Okay, let's ask the card. This is so convoluted. Let's ask the cards what we, the normal humans who can't decode like the Illuminati code words behind this thing, what are we supposed to get from this news article? What's in it for us here? What's really going on for the plebeians, the man on the street here? What are we supposed to understand out of all of this? Other than perhaps, oh, this is coming in. Is this a setup? She's declaring war, and then she'll die, and she'll be assassinated, and it's all going to be part of this movie. Is that what they're trying to set up here in some way?
Well, it looked like the bad guys put that article out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're in on writing the script on the movie. The movie seems to be written by the White Hats. And so if you think about it, if she's declaring war on who's known to be the bad guys, okay, doesn't that make you, it sort of look like maybe she's not a bad guy? So are they trying to save her legacy?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, it's a weird signal, but anyway, it could have nothing to do with us, because this card says it's the end of, it's sort of some grasping. This card is like dying a long, slow, painful, something's dying forever.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's incredibly dysfunctional is dying forever. And this card is what's in the middle. So they're working on maybe getting the word out that they're going forever.
Mm-hmm.
They're going off the earth plane forever, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're saying, what is this saying to us? Something's changing forever, something dysfunctional. The death of, this is a dysfunction, and everything in all those cups are really, none of them are real. They're all false. So there's this whole funky energy, which we were feeling this weekend, dying a slow, painful death. I think that's what we need to grasp from it. I don't think they meant that for us. I don't think they meant the message for us. I think the message was meant for the white hats.
Okay. Let me bring another piece into this too that might be a little bit tricky to navigate. So we'll watch our words. A couple of weeks ago, you talked about the fact, well, many months actually, you started talking about the fact that she was probably already gone, or that she was actually already gone, and we're eventually going to be told. And in the last month here, things have been happening in the mainstream media to show us that, oh, her health's pretty bad, and Prince so-and-so is recalled because she's not doing too well. So they're kind of leading up to something here. That she's disappearing of view here. Now, you mentioned something about a code word about London Bridge. Mm-hmm. What was that code word? Explain that to the audience and how that ties into the storyboard. You
mean London Bridge is falling?
Yes.
Okay, so that's when, if London Bridge falls down, the Queen's passed.
So that's okay. So this is where I'm going. So that's a code word for the Queen has passed, and perhaps the dismantling. And this is where you and I were making the conjecture in the last show: the dismantling of this commonwealth, of this whole hierarchy around the planet, and then a rejigging of the power positions around the world. So a Game of Thrones, so to speak, in really fast-paced movement. Well, speaking about that, check out this news from this weekend here. London bridges are falling down. The Economist magazine.
Ooh.
So here they're explaining that there's a weird phenomena. It's not just happening in London here, but because of this tectonic stress on the planet, maybe where the sun is dragging us through space, the planet is expanding. And so bridges around the world are untethering from their shorelines. So that was funny. We've seen that, but the way they've positioned that in the Economist magazine, I'm like, whoa, 4 days ago. And this was maybe 3 or 4 days after you and I had talked about the London Bridge falling down.
I did a deep dive on that magazine.
On which cover?
On the cover where they had all the tarot cards. They created their own sort of.
So that was 2018 or 19? I forget which one that was. Yeah.
I can't remember.
It's an older one. Yeah.
18 maybe?
You and I talked about this last cover of The Economist, or is it Time magazine where the Queen is just a cutout? Yeah, that's Time. That's not Economist. Okay. Yeah. So let's ask here about The Economist magazine here. London bridges are falling. So it's not fallen in the past. It's presently falling. So is The Economist magazine signaling here to through their code words here that she's in the process of being removed, or that the whole system there is being removed? And that's what you were just alluding to in the previous segment here on the Ben Fulford article. Is that what The Economist is saying?
So that's in the past around that article they put out. So it's a white hat op. So the white hats are in charge of that magazine, which is what I got. I got that it was taken over by the white hats. So they're signaling with it, not the bad guys, but it used to be used for the bad guys. Okay, so we've got the Wheel of Fortune. So the destiny. So it's a destined thing that she falls. I mean, obviously, everybody passes over, right? So that's yes. But this feels like just they're waiting for the destined time to announce it, I think. Right? Because we've got this too. So it's just saying, yes, it's happening, but we're waiting. There's a certain destined time. There's some kind of click that has to happen. There's a moment that has to be in place. I think it's signaling to us.
Wow. Okay. Man, I'm reading a comment in the section. Let me bring it up. Kelly Dolan, she says, Earth is still, there's no space and no planets. Keep pushing that, JC. I'm already on the shill fence here. Okay. I can go in a few directions here. And I respect that point of view. I know where this person is coming from. But that doesn't mean, so just to be the devil's advocate, even if the Earth was still, it still could be moving and having some perturbations that would hurt some bridges and moorings along some shorelines, as we're seeing here in the last number of years. Now, this leads me to, do I want to get into this topic? I'm doing a deep dive storyboard on something similar that would address Kelly's point of view here. So we'll leave it at that. So thank you, Kelly. That's a cool point of view. And it's pretty woo, but it doesn't mean it's crazy. So we'll get back to that. Okay, let me get to the PayPal tip jar. Let's get that starting here. Okay, so Corinne or Jenny? Corinne Martin. Let me see if I can bring that on the screen for you guys here. She's asking, thank you, JC and Janine. The planes are flying in a crisscross pattern and spreading a lot of things and making the sky hazy. Is this good or bad at this point? Let's specify at this point, because in the past, you and I have looked at into, and there's a geoengineering of sorts being on, and it's definitely not for a good. But we're seeing some of that here. I don't know where Corinne's location is. She doesn't mention in here, but let's just ask the cards for her. Is this good right now?
Right off the bat, this jumped out. So this is our good, kind, and benevolent, wise old soul card. Like, it's not always read that way, but I've been seeing it that way in this whole situation we're in. And it just jumped out. So I'll just mention that.
Okay.
That could indicate that they're being controlled now by the good side.
Okay.
But let's see. Yeah, good, guys. It somehow is going to help us get to our sovereign, that S word, freedom.
Oh, damn you, terrorist. You can't speak those words in here.
Well, you can't. I'll just say it in the short form. But yeah, so yeah, you don't want to say anything too honest, right?
Oh, no. Yeah, God forbid.
YouTube will get you. Anyway, so when we get to this, she's really independent and free. And this is an integral card. So it's coming from good entities now, energies. So they must be, maybe they're helping people unprogram themselves.
Oh, whoa. Hold on a second. Are they perhaps also spraying something that could counteract some of the results of the thing, if it's a good thing?
Okay, let's see if it helps if you had the thing.
Why?
The things. Okay.
While we're on the subject, we might as well ask.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. While you're doing that, I'm just going to
that could have been, because Michelle Fielding was getting that the thing was beneficial and not beneficial. I mean, I wonder if this is part of the benefits. They're triggering something with this, but let's have a look. Okay, so, and I was never, whenever I looked at it in the big picture, I never get the kind of leaving the earth plane everybody else seems to think is going to happen. I never got the danger levels, anything like everybody. I think that was the plan but I don't get it actually manifests, which to me feels like good news.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, very good news. Okay, so we got, yeah, so we've got strength and, okay, strength and healing. It strengthens your healing potential to if there was anything bad in there, I think it could counteract it. Wow. And you know what? A long time ago, I got that too, or I can't remember, was it on you and I? Maybe it was on one of our lives. But we did look at chemtrails like a year ago, and we were getting something was good in those.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
I think you're onto something there.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, I have another one on there, but I don't know if we can tackle that here. Let me chew it a little bit before I spurt that out loud. Let me see if I can get another quick question here. Janine, if Jean-Claude does a French show, he can translate for you. He better drink up on the lemon water beforehand. Okay, lemon water. Okay, or maybe vodka. It'll be easier to translate on vodka, I guess. All right. Okay, let me see. I'm going to come back to this one. I have to reread it twice. There's a Candida cat, I think, or something. I'll come back to that. I just have to read that twice before I read that out loud. There's a cool question there. There's another one here on the PayPal tip jar, Paul. And while you answer Paul, I'm going to go read that one again. So Paul is asking, listen to this. This is a cool question. Why did universe conspire to bring, I guess, him or them to watch our show? Is that a cool question?
Awesome.
I usually ask my guests like how universe conspired to bring them to the work they're doing. So how did universe conspire to bring these people here to watch our faces here on Monday night? Interested in that one.
Interesting. Very strange. Okay, so this was the people that he's talking about or referring to, whether that's just himself or everybody watching. So we've got, so everybody watching might have one thing in common, and that's they've had some shocking revelations. There's a lot of information maybe with this. This is a revelation card, and it's hurtful revelations, maybe about the world, maybe about their government, maybe about religion, maybe about all kinds of things, our medical system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. So, and all these secrets, there's all these secrets, and they're trying to understand what's really going on. So they're trying to understand, they're trying to gain understanding and come to a peaceful place.
Okay.
So they got sent here to get a little bit of glimpse of what the heck's really going on.
Okay. That makes sense. And how perhaps are they tied into our frequency? Because there's other people out here doing similar work than what you and I are doing. What connects us perhaps to the viewers on a more galactic level, maybe?
Well, I pulled these two before you said that. So this could relate to what I was saying back here, which is, so this is, they've surrendered to the fact that there is so everybody watching, or most of the people watching, have surrendered to the fact that they've been controlled, manipulated, and, they seem to agree, generally speaking. If you continue to watch a show like this, you probably would agree that there's been dark, cult, deep state activity in all areas, upper echelon of every kind of big organizations ruled by basically demonics. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody would agree, because if you didn't agree with that, you'd have a hard time watching us for too long. Okay.
And even if you don't.
Okay, so
people think I laugh too much and I giggle too much, and it's totally inappropriate, Janine. I've been told.
Oh, please do. And when we didn't, both of us were in a real serious mood last time. We were on a live, and we were both wondering, and you in particular were wondering, what, did something go wrong? Because our energy just has that effervescence. But
yeah,
something happened last week where it felt like it didn't have that, right? And it wasn't as fun.
Yeah, I
We're
know.
just trying to make it a little more fun, because this is a crazy big lesson the human race is learning, and you got to have a little fun, or it's going to be really hard to get through it.
Not just that, we're humans
Yeah,
too, and we're going through this at the same
yeah,
time as you. We have our own issues,
exactly.
families, and everything at the same time as you, and we still have to be out here every Monday night and Wednesday night to do these shows. And sometimes it's not as easy as some other days. So yeah,
That's
thank
right.
you. Yeah.
So this is the reason why they picked us maybe over watching another show. Okay, so they were just drawn in. This is
Mm,
a spiritual, it's like certain people are going to be energized by certain other people, and other people, you'll watch them for 5 minutes, and even though they're bringing good information, you just don't resonate with the
yeah.
energy or frequency. So it's a frequency. We
Mhm.
got the frequency they're looking for if they watch the whole show. That's why they watched it.
Can I ask also, because in some interviews with Carrie Cassidy, with
Yeah.
Bryce of Esoteric Atlanta, and somebody else, I forget if it was with Solbretta, we talked about blood types, and all of a sudden, a huge explosion of people on the show told us their blood types, and a lot of them were the same. And I don't need to get into
Wow.
what they were. So, are they also? And thanks to Paul for that question, Paul, Anthony Gaylord. Um, is it a blood type thing also that's connecting them to this frequency?
Well, I got the victory card, so that might be a part of it for sure.
Part
But
of it.
there's a sense of energy with this, and uplifting with that victory card. So I feel like a bigger part of it even is that we raise the frequency a little bit. We're not necessarily downers, even though
Right.
we talk about some real serious stuff. We try not to be too, down in the mouth
Mhm.
about it or whatever.
Yeah, and sometimes holding a show and talking about some of those topics, it's hard as a
It is.
host. Absolutely, it's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so wow, a big thank you to everyone who supports the show. We appreciate that. Hey, Jenny Alicia says, JC was interviewing Carrie Cassidy early in 2020, and I found Beyond Mystic that way. And then she had to find me 3 more times, because since those interviews with Carrie Cassidy, I've lost the channel a few times. That's just part of the game, of course. But thank you, Jenny, for being here and doing all of that great moderation work. And thank you to all the other moderators as well. You guys do an amazing job holding the frequency in this chat and this beautiful community of ours here. Speaking of which, we're at 7,000 live right now. Not a record, but we're almost there. So please, if you're here, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. Okay, let me try to go back to this question. Let me see. It's a longer question, so I think I have it, but I'll read it back to you and see how you feel about the question. Canada Kate, I think. Canada Kate. I don't know Canada. I don't know how to read the nickname. At any rate, the question is, I live in the Maritimes and my family is in Ontario. As of right now, I would have to be segregated for 2 weeks after visiting them for the holidays, which makes seeing them very difficult. So a lot of Canadians are in this weird position right now where they can't visit family. And if they do, it messes their whole life, going back to work, the whole routine, the schedule. It's just absolutely crazy. Will things with the illness have wrapped up enough for me and other people in similar situation to see family for Christmas? Great question, because again, we're all kind of like, enough of this. Oh, I can't go see grandma. You're going to kill her at Christmas, right? We've had that long enough now. Are we going to be able to travel, you think, timeline? As it stands now, can we ask the cards for an update as to whether or not we can have a breakthrough here before the holidays to reconnect with our families across Canada here from coast to coast to coast?
These are breakthrough cards. Okay, so is that your desire? Because you'll get your wish. Okay, so you'll get your wish, but focus on the wish. Focus on the wish. We're going to get our wish in a really surprising way, is another way we could read that. Because this is a wish coming true.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a surprise. There's going to be a surprising way we get that wish. So it may not be the way you expect it, which has been the case for this whole situation's none of it was expected. I mean, it was foretold and planned, but I think a lot of the things are not going as expected on any of the sides, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so so what do we do to keep that coming our way. Continue to believe, visualize, and imagine. So if everybody collectively worked on imagining for at least 5 or 10 minutes a day, so take a few minutes out of your day, a few times in the day, to imagine sitting around with family, loved ones, not having the stress hovering over that you're going to have to jump these hoops afterwards or whatever, that all of this has gone away. Imagine that. And it's already Christmas time or holidays or whatever you want to call it, and you're with your family, or for Americans, Thanksgiving is coming, so you're with your family members, and there's not going to be these ridiculous hoops to jump before or after. Just imagine that's possible and be in that frequency for a few minutes, a couple of different times a day, and send it out. And I like to put on a piece of paper my wish. Oh, I do this, like this is a practice, and I've done it my whole life, and I'm living all of those wishes coming true as we speak right now. Okay, so, and some of them took longer, and some of them came in ways that I didn't expect, but I always got what I wanted. Like I wanted a house for so many years, you have no idea. And exactly when the universe decided, okay, it's time to get you a house, I got my house. You know what I mean? Things will come exactly when they're meant to. So I would write it down. I'm going to be with my family. I won't have to jump the hoops, blah, 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 as if it's true. Put it on a piece of paper, smudge it. That's what I do. I sage underneath it. This is just an idea, right?
Right.
If it resonates, do it. Okay. And I put it somewhere like a shelf or something where I could see it. And then every day when I see it, so numerous times a day, as soon as I look at that folded piece of paper, I send out the frequency again. Okay. Because we're magical creatures, and we just forgot that we were actually learning to get back to our magic. That's the real thing we're learning in this whole thing. So if you remember that and start practicing that daily, I really think we can make this happen. Yes, I do.
Okay. Oh, that's exciting. That's good news. Yeah. And again, we are creating this reality. So there's a lot to be said for what Janine just expressed there. Okay. Talking about creating our reality here. Again, Janine and I are focused on showcasing people and bringing up people and supporting each other, right? That's our energy. You've seen that since the beginning of the onset of our show. And this weekend, Janine and I were talking about how we would develop this episode, and we're like, wow, that's a lot of work. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but wouldn't it be cool if we did it? And Janine said to me, she says, oh, GC, we're going to need another lifetime to go through all of these cool ideas of yours, right? And I'm like, well, wait a second here. I wanted to bring up this cool thing about who's got talent, and the fact that we have more time than we think. And let me bring this up for you guys. So just by the way here, we're going to keep this talent application form open till this Friday, this week. So that's going to be the 19th. So on the 19th of November, we will close this form. We'll let the selection committee do their thing, and then we'll eventually do an episode. So you have until the 19th to fill out the form, maybe make a little video introduction to tell us why you're a good fit with the Beyond Mystic audience, all that stuff. So just go and fill that out. But up until the 19th, after that, it's closed. So don't come back after and say, hey, can I be added? I won't have time. Okay. But speaking of time, not having time, I said to Janine, hold on. We have way more time than you think we do. And she's like, what do you mean? Well, in my understanding, in my deep knowing, I got this message a couple of years ago, by the way. So let me share it with the audience, and then I'll ask you to pull cards on it. But essentially it goes that way. We're going to go through this weird period of time. And if we succeed, this transition, this test, we could call it the test that Clefai was talking about in his loyalty test this weekend on this video. But we're going through this initiation period. And if we go through successfully, you and I, Janine, will live to somewhere between 200 and 300 years here in this lifetime in these bodies. And our children will live somewhere between the 400 and 700 year in their bodies. And the children coming up later, perhaps after 2027, could live probably 1,200 years, 1,400 years in these designed vehicles. And so there's a reason why I say that. Is going to be a long story to explain it, but I want to ask if that's possible, that as I'm describing it right now, this inner message that I got, that because of you and I, where we're at in our age, all the pollution we've been subjected to, all the chemicals we've been subjected to, our food and all that, even through this transition, we could still maybe squeeze 200 or 300 years, whereas the kids who are less polluted under us right now, who've been less exposed to all of this stuff than we have at our age, they might be able to reach the 400 to 700 year mark. Is that possible right now, given the situation and the opportunity that is being presented to us right now by universe?
Well, we'll have to put some strategies in place to help that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And thought strategies come to mind with this card because it's a 7 of swords. So it's very strategic. If you look at that guy, he's being very strategic with his words and thoughts. So I think if you align, similar to what I was saying just before this, your thoughts and words with that, and decide and assume and work on creating that going forward. Because up until now, we've had physical boundaries that wouldn't let us do that, because I think we created those by assuming you only live a certain amount of time. So we had a limitation, we had a shelf life, okay? But going forward, there's this big revelation to happen first. I think what's happening right now had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Before any of that's possible going forward. This had to happen first. But then I got the feeling, this card was the outcome. Then I got the feeling that I think we've always been able to do this, but our own personal limitations stopped us. So if we learn our magic again, come back to that, this dark element comes off the earth plane that's been repressing us and telling us we're really nobody. In fact, we're their food.
Mm-hmm.
And we recognize that we're actually all part of the goddess energy. I don't even put it separate. I don't think I'm it alone, but we're all it together.
Right. Well, I have to agree with you, because in my storyboard of my understanding, we've always had this, and at a certain point we've lost it. Now, did we lose it all of our own willing, or perhaps we were tricked with this matrix of control to eventually manifest the bodies that we have now and the short lifetimes that we have now, because it suits our controllers. So we're going back to closer to that original template. But again, the strategy part here is very important. And I said the if part. If we go through this initiation process and we are loyal to who we are and to what we know, that's the big test for humanity right now. Yeah. So somebody in there's a hairdresser and says, wow, that's a lot of haircuts. 12,000 years or 1,200 years is a lot of haircuts. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, that's interesting. How does that tie in, I'm curious, with the new species coming in 2027? Do we want to ask the cards? And the reason I bring that up, Janine and I are going to interview the amazing Robin. Let me see if I can bring up the poster here. Robin McLevy. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern, and the title of that episode is The Sacred Temples. That's going to be amazing. And we're going to talk about human design and perhaps what's coming up in our field here for our species. So the question is, this change or this test that we have now for humanity, is it part of this maybe a preparation for what's about to come in this conversation here for 2027?
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I think our destiny is to add a lot of years to our lives. I think you're right about that. But do we stay true to our destiny? Because if you think about it, a lot of people right now aren't.
Yeah.
They're literally giving themselves over to a medical system that's literally tyrannous. Is that a word?
I'm not sure. You're asking the French guy. Tyrannous? Maybe. Tyrannous, maybe.
I think so. Well,
Yeah.
if it isn't, I just made it up then, and that's a good word.
Yeah.
Okay, let's add that to the vocabulary.
Yeah. That's absurd, Jenny. Okay, we're having way too much fun tonight. People are going to bitch at us. We're having too much fun, Jenny.
Yeah. I think we're going with yes on that.
Oh, wait a second. Somebody said tyrannical. So it's tyrannical.
Okay, well, tyrannical. Okay.
Somebody says, yeah, it's Janine speak. Yeah, okay, it's Janine speak. Everybody understood anyways, Janine. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I due for another question?
Okay.
Oh wait, before I do that, I'll read from some of the questions here.
Oh,
Explain who this
you
amazing
left
person
for a
is and why
minute.
we're so excited to have her on the show tomorrow night. Oh, I
Are you
think you're frozen,
frozen?
Janine. Okay, are you back? Move your hand. Oh, are you there? Janine, say something. Go ahead. I can see you move now. Are you there? I think Janine is frozen, guys. Janine, can you hear me? Tell you what, Janine, if you can hear me, just reboot. Maybe
Okay,
leave
you're
the studio
breaking up.
and come back in. You're really
Okay,
foggy on
you're
my screen and you're frozen, Janine.
frozen.
Guys in the live stream, can you hear me okay? Can you hear Janine? What's going on? Let us know in the live stream. I don't know if it's my connection seems
Frozen to me.
see, I just lost Janine now on the screen. Okay. Okay, Janine to reboot. Yeah. Janine, you got to reboot. JC's okay. Sun is good. Janine is freezing up. Okay. Let's just wait. So let me see if I'll bring up this poster in the meantime. Yeah. I want to wait for Janine to come back to explain this, though. Hold on, folks. We're going to try to get Janine back. What can I do in the meantime? Okay, so tonight, the last pay-per-view we recorded is now available for the Insider Access Pass, and it will be available probably tomorrow late afternoon or maybe even Wednesday for the rest of the public. And of course, if you guys want to see all of those episodes before everybody else, the coupon code Stay Connected is still extended here. It'll give you 10% off here of the main library as the Insider Access Pass promo here for the month. Okay, I think I see Janine back on. Janine, you're back. Okay. It was you for some reason. Everyone was saying that you were frozen and they could still hear me. So, okay, you're back. Okay, my last question before we lost connection. Explain who this person is and why we're so excited to interview her tomorrow evening.
Well, she's partnered with my nephew, so that's exciting. She's also like, in my eyes, a big star, or has been, but she's a big star on lots of fronts. But in her past, she was in Hell on Wheels, and that's when it was before my nephew married her, or I even knew they were dating. I was totally obsessed with her character on Hell on Wheels, which is a great series, by the way, about the building of the railroad. Wow, she was the character with the main female character, actually, and she had a tattoo as a.
Hey, where did you go?
Am I gone again?
Oh, there you go. You're back. Okay. She had a tattoo. Say that again.
On the chin, yeah. And it was like, anyway, in the storyline, she was based on an actual character from history in the sort of the West, the world of building of the railroad and whatever. She was actually from a historical character. Of course, the show wasn't supposed to be exactly a true story or anything, right. But it was a great series, and she's been in lots of different things on film, but she's recreated herself and is in the process of recreating herself in this much more sort of spiritual and I don't know, she's evolved into a new version of herself. They're all versions of herself, but she's in a new evolution of herself. And so it's kind of exciting, right?
Yeah. Well, we had a pre-interview with her this Saturday, and we looked at her amazing work. I'm really excited to have this conversation with her tomorrow night. So guys, that's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern time. You don't want to miss it. Very, very well, it ties into that conversation we were just having about our lifespan, the human design, who we are, how we're actually built. And once we know that, we can really take control of our steering wheels. To say it like maybe in more simple terms, but it's going to be a fascinating conversation. So tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, guys. Okay. Janine, let me see. We're 50 minutes in. What do we want to do next? Did you have anything else you talked about? Oh, yeah. Let me bring this up. You mentioned the CDC just before we went live tonight. Difficult topic to broach. Do I have it here? No, I don't, for some reason. You and I were talking, okay, let's try to navigate this. You and I were talking about the fact that news is coming out now through freedom of information, through whistleblowers, all that stuff that basically negate or should negate or completely terminate most of these mandates. And what we're trying to figure out is, why is there a time delay between the news coming out and the reaction or the reversal of the mandates that are based on supposed science, but when the actual feed comes out of the science, it's not supported. I guess that's as much as I can say here for this show. We'll probably do a deeper dive on this at some point, maybe on the pay-per-view, but why is there that time gap or that time delay right now, one? And two, what can humans do to shorten that time gap between the news coming out and then reality, boots on the ground actions to reverse the course we're on now? I think that's what everybody would like to know, how they can contribute to that.
It feels like it's a careful plan by the good guys to wake everybody up. So I feel like it's the reason it's delayed is because they want you to see just how much power we've given over to this bunch, where no matter what the real truth is and how much it's out there, they'll still do their ridiculous things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I believe it's actually all going to get shut down. I have always thought that. I know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when exactly. But it feels like, we're going to be living a much better life really soon, but not until they're sure that we're not going back to sleep. And
Okay.
I'm not the only one that gets that. I mean, it's so obvious. Something's so wrong with all of this. Doesn't make any sense that you could see them doing this, pulling this over 10 years, what they're pulling, but it's all being pushed so obviously that to me, it's like an obvious part of the movie.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's good for now. And I'd ask more questions, but would probably get us in trouble here. So we might do a whole other episode on that. Clearing is asking about GWB's arrest. Well, we actually went into that and way more today in this 31st edition here of Janine's Tarot Uncensored. Again, it's live now for the Insider Access Pass members, and it will become available here in the public in the next couple of days or so. So if you guys want to check that out. In the meantime, also, Carla asked me to update you guys. The amazing Carla with the Organite Pyramids. What happened here was she got too busy too quickly, and Etsy put her on vacation. So they're investigating to make sure there's no fraud involved here. And of course, there's not. She's hard at work. She's delivering, and she's giving Janine and I updates here every day on all of the pyramids that she's fulfilling in these orders. And so she's going back and forth with Etsy here. And at some point here, hopefully, they're supposed to get her back to her by this weekend, I think she said. So hopefully the site will be back up, and you guys will be able to order your pyramids once again. Now, in the meantime, she told me that she put out, I believe, 40 yesterday and another 45 today. I believe she's working really hard to pull all of these in the mail for you guys. So she just wants you to let you know that she's working hard and she is producing all of these amazing pyramids, and she'll have another pyramid for the Beyond Mystic audience this Wednesday night. But for tonight, there is a person who wished to remain anonymous, who donated 2 insider access passes for our audience, so for us to draw from the PayPal tip jar. So tonight I will be giving away one of those, and we'll announce it on Wednesday night. So a big thank you again to everybody who contributes to the PayPal tip jar. I know we can't get to all of your questions, and this is why we try to give back to you guys, but we want to let you know that we do absolutely appreciate all of those tips. Again, you guys make all the difference in the world. So a big thank you for all of you. Now, let me see down my list here. Who's got time? I think we're there, Janine. Is there anything else that comes to mind that you wanted to share with the audience here before we go, or do you want to just pull some cards from for the collective? How do you want to use the last couple of minutes here?
Well, I just want to describe how I'm feeling on this blanket.
Oh, nice.
It's like, I don't know. It's like doing something really good to my back. It feels like my back is, I don't know, like healing or something, because I'm often pretty tense, like sitting over the computer all day, watching videos and reading things in the news, or
answering nasty emails,
fake news and emails. Yeah, like I'm hunched over a computer, and I feel really much more relaxed. And I feel I feel really good, actually.
Well, that's awesome. Well, speaking of answering maybe nasty emails, let's talk about this.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had that same email Saturday morning. Somebody was like, JC, I love your show. But that Janine lady, she's a fraud. She took my money. She's not answering my calls. She's not doing my reading as she promised, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, do you mean you answered the imposter in the comment section below, trolling you guys for money on Instagram, Insta app or whatever, WhatsApp and all that stuff?
Yeah.
And so this person fell for one of those imposters again. And Janine and I are so like, we're heartbroken, but at the same time, I mean, we can't keep repeating it, guys.
Yeah.
We do videos, we give warnings, we try to delete them. We've told YouTube
Yeah.
about it, but there's still people who are trying to, I guess, enrich themselves on our reputations, and that's unfortunate. And so it was kind of heartbreaking to read that this weekend. And
but when we got into the details, it was really obvious that he was being told to send money to someone who was posing as my neighbor, okay, and that the neighbor was taking the money. That's why the money had to go to some other PayPal other than my name. Now, if that didn't ring alarm bells, so it's like, you got to pay attention if anything's off, and go straight to somebody's website. Obviously, just use your common sense and go straight to somebody's website and have a look. I have it on 4 different areas in my website that I do not do personal readings. I literally have it on the front of the website. So like, you don't just take some weirdo's word for it. I mean, that's just common sense. So I'm afraid I had to, we went back and forth writing, and it's like, he was calling me a fraud and stuff. So I had to get to the bottom of it. And I had to tell him, okay, you're kind of naive, dude, and you need to sharpen up.
Yeah. It's unfortunate too. I think he said he was into it for $1,700. I'm like, $1,700? Wow. Anyways. Hello. Yeah.
I would never, ever do anything like that. So, and I wouldn't be on air. And if you Googled my name, you'd see I was a fraud. I'm not a fraud. You can Google my name. I've never been called out a fraud. You would see it if I had if I was doing scams like that, it'd be so obvious, you're sending your money to someone who isn't my name, wake up.
And not just that, it's totally not our frequency. I mean, we don't communicate like that to anybody in the comment sections. We don't have time. At best, we'll say, hey, thank you for the comment. We don't troll comment sections. And also, I don't do customer support in the comment section. So you guys say, hey, I bought a video, my password doesn't work. I'll never see that, guys. Fill out the actual customer support email on the pay-per-view website. Those will respond to you. But please don't try to get my attention in the comments. There's just so many videos, so many comments. I'll never get to you that way. And of course, this was one of the warnings that Janine and I put out. This was the imposter found. Like, they're using my name, my logo, everything, and they're pretending to be me, and they're trying to get you guys to invest in some specific cryptos. And of course, I wouldn't do that. I don't do that, and I won't do that. So, all right, sorry to end on that. So let's get back to a positive track, Janine. Let's pull some cards here, moving into the next couple of days. What positivity, what outcome, what hope can we maybe pull from the ether here for the audience here for the next couple of days? Let's try to pull something positive.
Oh boy. Okay, so all kinds of news. Now, the news that we're hearing about these people that this happened to, I can't say the word, but leaving their body. And it's because of some kind of nefarious things they were into in their lifetime. Okay, we're going to hear all kinds of news about it. 2 aces. So we're going to hear all kinds of, and the stories are true. They might have happened different times than they're putting it out there, though. So you're going to hear all kinds of news. And also there's going to be all kinds of fear tactics and stress out there, like around things like, okay, you're not going to be able to get your license anymore unless you had the, couple of times. yada, yada. Things are going to start amping up. They already have. People are writing me constantly, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to do this or that, or all of that is they're trying to get you into a frequency so we don't co-create the real truth, which is we're going to go to a way better place. And this is all going to drop because it has no standing in any universe. It can't stand. Okay. It's not going to stand. So stay with that frequency and don't let your buttons get pushed.
Wow. Speaking of positivity, we almost hit the 8,000 live members here during the show. Thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate that. And please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to build those numbers up. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And Finish the Book Publishing is saying, Janine's blanket matches JC's background. Oh, yeah. I like that purple. I love the frequency of that. And thank you so much to, what was it again? Ladybug Healing. Do I still have her website? This one.
Sherry.
Yeah, Sherry, that's it, at Ladybug Healing. So guys, go and check her out. This was Tarot Reading by Janine here on Monday night. We'll be back on Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern. And of course, please do check us out tomorrow night for a special episode with Robin McLeavy. That will be at 9 o'clock Eastern. And in the meantime, you can subscribe here to Sending Ravens on YouTube and also at Tarot by Janine. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic. I love you guys. Have a great evening and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Au revoir.